Hello, hello, Dan Casey, Panic Proof Retirement, coming to you from the Panic Proof Studios in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Today, I got a really good one. I have a show that I think a lot of people would like to see, and it's about long-term care insurance, right? Ugh, more insurance. People are tired of paying for insurance and never getting anything out of it, right? However, a long-term stay can be very, very bad in the beginning of retirement, right? To put it understate it. In the state of Michigan here, we're looking at probably about 10, 11, 12 grand a month to be in a long-term stay. So the community spouse, or the spouse that's still at home, can be severely negatively affected if that kind of money needs to be siphoned for a long-term stay. So it's super important, and people get that. People don't fight me on that. It's just, how do you pay for it? What if I'm not in great health right now? And that's all great questions. And the landscape changes, it seems like, almost by the day. There's a ton of different versions out there of how you can get long-term care insurance. So I'm going to show you an actual case study, actual numbers of actual people, to show you kind of what it's like. And you can kind of go from there and adjust a little bit. But of course, if you and I talk, I would run numbers specifically for you. So to do a high level, this is the way how you fund long-term care policies. So either you fund it with non-retirement money or retirement money. Okay, that's obvious. So retirement money, which makes it easy, is if that's all you got, well, there's only one type of policy that you can buy and use IRA money to fund a long-term care policy. And it's not like the IRA money becomes all taxable in the year, but it does require a lump sum of IRA money, but it's not all taxable in that same year. If you've got non-retirement money, and again, a lot of my clients were all battling with that non-retirement money, right? It's super cool to have because we can use that to pay taxes on Roth conversions. We need it for long-term care policies because that gives us the most flexibility. And obviously, when you pull money out of a non-qualified account, it's tax-free, right? Obviously, we all know money coming out of a Roth is tax-free. Non-qualified account, yes, while the money is in there, all these notifications are going to kill me. While the money's in there, yes, it can kick off dividends depending on what it's invested in, right? Could kick off dividends, interest. If it's an annuity, nothing, it's deferred. But usually there's some sort of taxation of a non-qualified account. But when you withdraw the money out of the account, it's tax-free. It's just like a checking account, right? The act of pulling money out is not taxable. Okay, sorry, I went down a rabbit hole there. So non-qualified money, you have the choice of lump sum, just pay it once, get it over with, done. You can make payments. And when you make payments, you can make large payments and fund a life policy. And that way, if you don't use it, a bunch of tax-free money goes to the kids, right? But you have to go through underwriting. Or you can use non-qualified money to fund an annuity, a lot less underwriting and possibly none sometimes. And that's important to determine, when you go into that long-term care discussion, what your own health is right now. Okay, let's jump into, let me share my screen. And talk about long-term care. All right, so this is, again, real numbers, real clients, so we can get a really good feel of what it's like. None of this is made up. All right, so let me just, again, highlight. Let me get my pen working here. We've got the single premium. That's using non-qualified money. One time, you're done. There's pros and cons. We've got the 4-care annuity. That's non-qualified money, lump sum, but a good amount can go to beneficiaries. So again, it depends on how much you want money to go to beneficiaries if you don't use it. Qualified, this is the only one that can be used for IRAs. This one is pay to 95, meaning this is the monthly payments, but it's going to be much higher because you get a life insurance policy, which means tax-free money goes to the kids. And then Mutual of Omaha, that is your classic, traditional long-term care policy. You pay in every year. The premiums are usually smaller. You pay in every year, but there's nothing left when you pass. Okay. I'm going to go back to my thing and make sure my mic is still working because I've been having issues. Okay. So let's go through single premium. What does that look like? That is life insurance based, so you do have to go through underwriting. One-time payment of $210,000, no future premiums ever, fully paid up immediately, maximum simplicity. And I'll show you what the benefits are for doing that. 4Care annuity. This is annuity based with a long-term care rider. So roughly the same amount of single deposit, but it instantly provides triple the amount of whatever you put in. So if you put in $200,000, it's going to provide $600,000 of long-term care benefits available. Pretty cool. Oh, okay, just making sure. Sorry, just making sure. But that one does have a death benefit, right? Awesome. This one, the next one, qualified assets. This one, again, takes about $221,000 of IRA assets. But again, one time and you're done. Taxation is spread out over 2 or 10 years, but provides about the same benefit. Pay to age 95. We don't have to do a one lump sum, but the payments are super or higher compared to normal long-term care insurance. That's $14,492 every year. But again, a large tax-free benefit that can go to the kids if you never use it. And then, of course, the classic long-term care traditional policy where you pay $9,800 a year. What is it? $9,850 a year. Yep. You're going to get about $500,000 of pool of money, inflation protection, and shared between spouses. So a lot of cool benefits. Again, Mutual of Omaha is usually the classic one that I go to for long-term care insurance. Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the comparisons for the lumps. No, not the lump sum. The usually probably like the top three that I sell. So we've got all upfront costs are about the same, right? Lump sum ones are the same. And this one's the annual payment. What I wanted to get basically to the benefit amount. Here it is. Sorry. Benefit pool. Yes. So basically you can see almost all, well, they're all identical. Okay. So, cause I backed into it to get that answer basically, to figure out how much, if what we put in was going to be the same as well. All inflation protection. Awesome. I think inflation protection is pretty important when it comes to long-term care insurance because you may get it when you're 60, but you might not need it for 20 years. Okay. So let me see what else here. The 4Care, again, benefit pool, we kind of covered. It's either double or triple. Usually it's triple, whatever you put in. Mutual of Omaha, premiums. They're all about the same. They all create about $500,000 in long-term care pooled benefits. So again, I do this kind of analysis for anybody who wants it, because obviously we want to look into it, but a lot of times the decisions are made right away. So depending on, like, some people don't have any non-retirement money. It's all IRA money, right? They just socked money into their 401k their whole life, and that was it. So that makes the decision pretty easy. But if you do have non-qualified money, then the decision is, do you want to make smaller monthly payments so you can have other money that we can invest? Or do you want to just use a pool of money, set it and forget it? You never have to worry about it again. And then when we do that, can you go through underwriting so we can pass the most money to your beneficiaries if you never use it? But if you can't, then we're using an annuity and it's less. So lots of fun stuff that we go through. But again, there's so many different hybrids and versions. Everybody's different, but that kind of, I hope, gives you an overview. Again, don't forget that QR code up there to get into my private Facebook group where I go over stuff like this with people. I do case studies, Q&A. I'm going to start a show pretty quick. That will be a weekly show covering cool stuff that I know you're going to want to watch. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Talk to you soon.